This is not a breach of banking infrastructure or banking companies. What this represents in our research is a large amount of Australian citizens who have had their devices compromised with a certain type of computer virus. And one of the things that computer virus does really well is steals things like banking credentials.
So just tell us in a bit more detail about this specific kind of malware that you're looking at.
So InfoStealer malware is predominantly created by criminals to land on your computer and very quickly take as much information, hence the name, as possible to send that straight back to the criminals.
Why did you choose banks specifically to focus on in this report?
One of the reasons that we thought it would be useful to raise awareness is, with recent news around superannuation attacks and credential stuffing, we've seen a tight correlation between the use of InfoStealer malware and using those passwords to conduct these type of attacks against individuals.
This is only a snapshot, really, isn't it? This 31,000 credentials. Where did you find them?
There's things like instant chat, online Telegram chat rooms, cybercrime forums. Think of it like an Amazon marketplace for stolen information.
So if you are one of those banking customers who's unfortunate enough to have had your credentials traded in this way, does that mean that theoretically your account could be drained using that information that's been stolen?
Yes. If criminals have your banking credentials, they can attempt to, log into your account and perform actions. Whether or not the banks would detect that is up to each separate bank, and they have a multitude of different things they do to try and detect that.
I wanted to talk to you a bit about some of the maybe more common solutions that are often recommended to people that don't necessarily completely solve this issue.
Look, I think everyone's familiar with the typical advice, right? Use a strong password, rotate your passwords, use an antivirus. If you have InfoStealer malware on your device and you say change your password, then that malware is going to get the new password that you've just created. And so, it's the equivalent of changing your locks while the burglar is still in your house. For users at home, you need to start thinking about how does InfoStealer malware get on your device in the first place. One of the most common ways that we see from our analysis is, online games, whether it's Minecraft, cracked software, which is software that you would typically have to pay license fees for, whether it's Photoshop or something else. If you've got banking credentials or highly sensitive information you want to use on your computer, keep that separate to, say, the devices and the computer that your children are using.
What do you hope happens as a result of releasing this somewhat frightening information publicly?
This is not intended to frighten anyone. This is a reality. There is, millions of devices around the world being infected by this type of malware, and it's a public matter because most of the infections are happening on personal devices. So our goal with this research is to raise awareness for the average citizen, so they understand more about how valuable their data actually is and what they can do to make it difficult for attackers to actually take this information.